So if you're a personal trainer that has struggled with feast or famine, in this video, we're going to go through how you can actually reduce the famine stage by creating a lead magnet that gets people to raise their hand, gets them into your system, allows you to warm them up, and eventually turn a percentage of those people into paying clients. Today, we're going to speak about specifically a quiz and also an assessment. Andrew, hi, how are you doing?
Well, Eric, looking forward to this. It's one that we both like to use, so I think it's going to be particularly valuable to the viewer today.
Brilliant. So look, the person watching this video right now, Andrew, just give them an idea of what we mean, just a quick overview of what we mean by a lead magnet, just in case the person watching is not familiar with what a lead magnet actually is. Maybe it's a bit of jargon that they've heard, but what is it?
Yeah, and it's important to understand that those that have been following along, if you've been one of those people, you would have seen this. But essentially, for anybody new watching, a lead magnet is it's just a free piece of value that we can give away, be it a PDF, be it a cheat sheet, be it a nutrition plan, in exchange for somebody's name and email address. As I say, think of it like this: if I'm patting a smoothie shop, somebody's outside with the samples, they give you a little try. Did that in Borough Market a few weeks back. Liked the smoothie that we had, ended up buying a couple of them through that trial that we had. So you can do the same with your business. You could be offering a free meal plan, a 7-day workout, a workshop, a quiz is the topic that we're going to be talking about today. Give your ideal client something generally useful, which is going to save them time, it's going to save them energy, and it's going to not necessarily solve their overall problem. It solves one specific element of the problem that they face. I think it is a good way of describing it.
Yeah, and it can solve a problem. It can also provide them with a bit of a mindset shift as well. It's something
True.
else that it may well do for them. And in terms of the lead magnet, before we dive into the quiz and the assessment, I think it's important that we explain to you a little bit about where this lead magnet sits within the whole kind of ecosystem of lead magnets. Because the mistake that I've made in the past, Andrew, I know you've made it as well, 'cause we spoke about it, is that we create this lead magnet, be it a recipe book, be it a workout, be it a talk, whatever it might be, and we put it out there on social media and we hope and pray that it's going to do the business for us and people are going to be ringing us up and saying, oh, saw your talk or saw your workout video or your recipe book. Can I book in for a session with you? It doesn't work like that. So I'm going to go through.
Unfortunately, not.
No, you might get the one occasional one that works, but generally speaking, not. So I'm just going to quickly share the ecosystem that I've used in my business, and you've used something similar in yours. Let me just see if this share comes up. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Cool. That's come up.
Cool, right, okay. So we spoke about lead magnets, and today we're speaking specifically about quizzes. The first thing that you want to do that we recommend you do is the lead magnet that you want to create should come from your signature offer. So we recommend that everybody has their own bespoke, tailor-made signature offer that's designed for a specific person with a specific problem who is prepared to pay a specific amount of money to have that problem solved. And ideally, the bigger the problem, the more people are prepared to, solve that problem. In my case, it was weight loss working with career women over the age of 40 looking to lose 30 to 50 pounds plus. It's a big enough problem for them to want to solve.
For
So
sure.
the recommendation is you take a slither of your signature offer and you turn that into your lead magnet. So it could be a recipe, it could be a workout, it could be anything that you think within your signature offer they would actually enjoy. Now, today I'm using an example of a quiz. I'll explain why quizzes work particularly well and why it's not necessarily slither out of my program, but it does feed into my program quite well. So your lead magnet, I've just explained, it needs to be packaged attractively. And I'll give you an example of my lead magnet actually in action. So I'll go through this whole system so you can see how it works. Attractive packaging, Once people have decided they want it, we need to create a landing page of some description that looks, attractive and delivers the goods, as it were. Then they go into what we call a kindling email sequence. So they've downloaded the freebie offer, the recipe book, the workout, they've watched the talk. They now go into a email sequence. Now, the key thing here is the email sequence needs to be automated. You don't want to be sending out emails, during the week. You want to have this set up, and typically 5 emails over the course of 5 to 10 days is ideal. But that is just warming people up now. And the beauty of this is it can be set up. You can be away working with clients, you can be sat watching Netflix, you can be on holiday. This is working in the background for you. And then finally, what you need is a traffic source to actually get eyeballs onto your lead magnet. And now, in my case, I use YouTube. And I say I will give you an example as we go through today's talk of how I use YouTube to actually promote my quiz within that video. And I'll show you the link and I'll show you the landing page as well. But essentially, what we're saying is this is a whole ecosystem where your lead magnet should sit. Now, I've done previous talks on different lead magnets, but the system still applies. And if you want to get access to some actual training about all of this, there should be a link below in the description or maybe in the first comment where you can go to my client growth engine blueprint, and it will talk you through this whole system. It will go through a whole number of things, including what I've just described, that S.P.A.R.K.S system. Andrew, anything to add on to that before we dive into and give some examples of lead magnets and I go through the quiz one?
Only in that I want people to understand the real power of what you put together with this S.P.A.R.K.S system. Yes, I've done something similar. It doesn't have a great acronym like yours, but it's
ChatGPT did
just
that.
well, great. Uh,
Yeah.
but it just, as I say, download that document because I think every, well, majority of fitness professionals I've worked with all have their own signature system. They don't have it documented more often than not, but they do have that system that they generally follow with clients. I'm sure you're the same, those that are watching. Some have a lead magnet. More often than not, it's this big, voluminous 100-page PDF that used to work back in 2010, but unfortunately don't now. They've got to be, as you say, they've got to splinter out an element. And the way I look at that is that, let's say if your program's got 9 components, you can just splinter one out. Maybe it's the nutrition plan. That there's they've got that's viable on its own, but it plays a part in the overall other elements, your fitness program and so on and so forth. But as I say, use this framework that Eric's put together because it's just clearly helps you get the necessary steps together to get that foundation of support to be able to grow your business. And another thing just on that, yes, it will take a bit of time. Don't think you're going to get it all done in a day, but continuous improvement and blocking some time to build it out. Once it's there, as Eric says, it's plug and play. Then it's doing the hard work for you. So there's an upfront investment of getting this done, time more so, but then it frees up the overtime to really deliver, and that you can 24/7 it's working for you then.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Andrew, let's dive into some examples then of, assessments. And I know you've got a good example of a wait list as a lead magnet. So we'll do that, and then I'll share the screen and show the quiz and talk a bit about why I think a quiz is a particularly good thing. So do you want to share or should I try and share?
Let me see. I'll get that there. I'll just quickly do our share now. And hopefully that'll work this time.
Yep,
Great.
that's on. Yep,
It
brilliant.
does. Yeah, so basically, this isn't a quiz, but we've used the framework that we've built the quizzes in that we've got this simple landing page, and this particular client is maxed out. It's that problem that we all like to face as
Yeah.
fitness professionals running a facility that we're maxed out, but he still wants to grow his business. He doesn't want to go down the road of bringing in additional coaches, which is one generally the direction most of us take.
Mm.
I know, Eric, you've gone down that approach as well as I have.
Yeah.
But what he wants to do instead, because he's got a young family that he wants to spend time with, is that, hey, I'm going to move more into the online approach. So he's got lead magnets in play already, but he wanted to create a framework that again has this automated follow-up. So we said, hey, let's do a wait list based on what I've done myself on ScoreApp.
Yeah.
We've used a different tool, high level. So basically, this is a simple landing page that he's done some videos that directs people to in the call to action, and this captures their details. They can hit the button, the pop-up form comes up, grabs their name, email, their phone, and asks them what their main fitness goal or challenge is, their primary training location. They hit the submit button, and then they get his welcome email sequence so that he's got plugged in already. So that's a clean, interesting alternative, but it's following the framework that we're discussing. Um, on our call today, and equally what we've done on previous calls.
And what I like about that waiting list, the whole waiting list concept is, and I've seen this done by a lot of people, and I think it's something that's undervalued, and a lot of people are not prepared to do this, and that is, if you've got an idea and you think this is yeah, I'm going to invest a lot of time and effort in this, before you do that, put your wait list out. So you put the wait, you come up with a rough idea, put the wait list out. If there's a massive response to it, then you can start to flesh it out in more detail. And I've done this before when I've tried to run new programs. Okay, put something out. If I get crickets, right, forget that. Rather than investing
Yep.
masses of time to find that nobody's interested, just come up with a quick landing page like you've shown there. And if you get a good response, boom, we're in business. If you get no response, okay, you know what? Get rid, think of something else, or improve upon it, whatever you need to do. But that's what I like about waitlists. It gives you an opportunity. And the other thing is, not everyone that signs up is going to become a paying client. Some people can just sign up
Exactly.
because it's like, you know what, I'll just sign up anyway, just out of interest.
Yeah,
But
and that's the approach we've taken because I've made the mistake myself where I spent weeks on building out this online program, recorded the videos,
mm,
put together the additional assets that the PDFs people can download and that like the screenshots, and everything, and it was crickets because I made the fundamental mistake of not making sure that there was a viable audience
yeah,
there and it was something they wanted. So we know already that Josh has already got some interest
mm,
from existing clients, but equally we didn't want to invest too much time into him fleshing out the complete online program until we knew that it it was a program, a service that there was a wanting audience
mm.
for. So it's good that you bring that up.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. Now, okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk about quizzes now and give you an example of how a quiz would work. So the Spark system that you've just seen, what I'm going to do now is show an actual live example of how that works. Before I do that, just a bit about quizzes. One of the most powerful things about quizzes is this, and the reason why they work, I believe, from a psychological point of view. This is not just me saying it, this is said by a lot of people. It's about the individual. And we are most interested in ourselves. So if there's a
We are.
quiz that's going to tell me something about me, guess what? I'm interested. And it's going to personalize it. I'm even more interested. So that's the premise of a quiz. Now, what I'm going to show you now does take a bit of setting up, but once it's set up, you can literally set and forget. So I'm going to show you how I introduce it via YouTube. and then I'll take it to the landing page as well. So let me just do that now. I'll just share screen. Let me know when you can see this on screen, Andrew.
Yep, that's showing.
Okay, I'm looking a bit sort of drowsy-eyed there. It's a bad way, but of course at the wrong time. But basically what we've got is
We always do.
we've got a YouTube video. This was titled, if I were a woman 50 plus, want to lose 50 pounds fast, I'd do this. So that's the title of the video. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to play the video and you'll hear me introduce my lead magnet, and you'll also see over to my right, as you look at it on the screen, my lead magnet come up. So I'm just going to play the video so you can hear what I say, how I introduce it. Have a free boost weight loss. I'm just going to rewind that a little bit. Okay. Share this dietary shift with you. I just want to make you aware of a free boost weight loss assessment I've made available. There's a link below this video. Click on it, take you to a page, answer a few simple questions, take you about 3 minutes, and you'll get back a full-blown report that will help you to kickstart your mindset, your diet, and your exercise. So you can click on that link below this video at the end. Okay. So all I've done there is I've introduced the topic, and I've said, oh, by the way, before we get into the topic that you've clicked on this video for, just to let you know, I've got this other resource. Now, the resource has to tie in with what you're talking about, otherwise it'll seem a bit weird. Now, I've introduced this quite early in this video. In other videos, I may not introduce it until maybe minute number 3, 4, or 5, and I might repeat it again at the end. So they've seen it. If they want it, there's a link below the video. They click on this link here, and I'll click on it, and hopefully it'll show you the landing page. Let me know if it does.
It does.
Yeah. So this is where they go for the quiz. They'd click on this, and basically they'd enter their details to get started. So they've got to enter their details to get started. This is the landing page. There's a bit about what the quiz is, a bit of blurb about me and some social proof, where I've been featured, what it, how it works, some testimonials from people, what they'll actually get, so they get a visual, and then it's another call to action at the bottom. So that quiz, once people actually sign up for that, they then go into that email nurture sequence. So I've now got them in my ecosystem. First few, 4 or 5 emails are all about education, and then just dropped in there, sprinkled in there, there's an opportunity. If they want to book a call with me, they can do that. So that's how I've set up my quiz. Any thoughts, comments yourself, Andrew, on the quiz setup there?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, and please let us know in the comments below if you've used a quiz, or you're thinking of using a quiz. I think they're extremely powerful. We've all used. I'm sure you're watching today. You've got a lead magnet or have used a lead magnet in the past. Mine in the past have been what we've discussed in previous ones: the trial, the PDF, the video, the etc. But you and I, Erak, are both huge fans of quizzes, and I always remember them back in the day. This is going back maybe 5, 7 years ago, where you'd get a quiz when you're scrolling through your social media, find out which superhero you are and stuff like that. And you were driven to take that because it was a bit of fun. But that's the real power of quizzes. And what I like about what we're able to do now with the likes of software like ScoreApp, which you and I both use, is that you can tailor it so it's specific to, the type of audience we're targeting, but equally the services that we're offering, and we can make it a compelling, much like which superhero you are, for somebody to see it and go, hey, you know what, I'm going to take that. And that's all we're ever looking to try and achieve in creating lead magnets, is that we get somebody to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested. You've got me. Let me you've grabbed my interest. Let me find out a little bit more. And by them doing the quiz, getting them onto our email list as part of that S.P.A.R.K.S process, we're then able to, build that rapport with them through the kindling sequences, as Erak outlines in the S.P.A.R.K.S system.
Yeah, and I just thought I'd mention this as well regarding leads, because that video is an organic video. It's not paid for. It's just my time. everything has a cost element to it. And if you're not paying in money, you're paying in time. But just to give you
Exactly.
an idea, that one video, I think it was that one, might have been another one, but one of them generated 197 leads in 1 month. Now, some might say, well, that's not many leads, but think about this for a second. I was listening to another trainer who's stationed out in, I say stationed, that's my military talk, hey, station lives in, I think it's either New Zealand or Australia. And long story short, he created a video. It was on the Farmer's Walk, and he then retrospectively went back because the video went viral for him. It's got like over 300,000 views on it. But before it got to 300,000, as he saw it increasing, he went back retrospectively and put a link in for a free downloadable. I forget what the gift was, but it's all organic. And he said he was paying anywhere between, I think it was 25, excuse me, and £35 per lead on Facebook. Now, if you speak to a lot of the gurus out there, they'll say anywhere between, some were saying get leads at $2. Okay, maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I would say anyway, I used to say between $5 and $10, maybe even more. But if you work between five, so 197 times by $5 or pounds, depending where you are, is 985 pounds or dollars that you've got for free. Or if it's at the top end, like he was saying, he was paying 35 quid to get a lead to come into his business so he could start that relationship. That's £6,895 that he hasn't paid on advertising. He's done it organically. And I know we're going to go into future videos talking about organic marketing and different ways to get eyeballs on your content. I just thought it was relevant to mention that right now because that particular quiz did bring in, for me anyway, a lot of leads into my business. In actual fact, I think I converted maybe two, I forget the figures now, so the 2 or 3 people became paying clients on the back of that as well.
That's right. And I know you say we're going to talk about organic content further down the line, but I'm the same both in what I do. I've really simplified my approach and I don't pay for paid advertising. I've got clients who I consult with who were paying, a couple of £1,000, dollars a month in advertising, and they've actually stopped that because in investing into the organic content and getting good quality videos, good quality SEO optimized blog posts, we're driving more quality leads into their business. And their automated follow-up does the hard work for them so that they're not where in the past you'd have this list of people that you've paid for and then you're trying to connect with them and they're ghosting you because they weren't really interested in that, so you paid for these leads but the quality was poor.
Yeah.
So I found that, yeah, as the rising cost in online advertising goes up, it's difficult for us as fitness professionals to be able to invest in that, but there are, in my view, better ways in still being able to
Mm.
fight against the bigger fitness businesses out there. We can still level the playing field in doing that. And quizzes, I feel, they're still underused within the fitness world,
Mm.
and using a tool like ScoreApp where they've got these health and wellness templates that aren't necessarily plug and play,
Mm.
but they make it so much easier to get something up and out there within an hour. And you're right, the way I approach it myself and with my clients is that rather than spray and pray with lots of different things, we
Mm.
streamline it into thinking, what's the message that we're looking to get out there with folks? And what's our call to action? And our call to action now is, hey, come and take the quiz. And then it's seamless, it's simple, and it's effective.
Yeah. Okay, so just bring this to a close then. So I would say hopefully you've taken some notes of what the things that myself and Andrew have spoken about. Just think to yourself, I'm going to create a lead magnet. It's going to come from my signature offer. It's going to be a slither. Once you've got that lead magnet, you want to be thinking about the packaging of it. You want to be thinking about the delivery. You want to be thinking about the nurture sequence. You want to be thinking about how am I going to get traffic and eyeballs onto that content. Make sure when you create your lead magnet, you put it within an ecosystem that allows you to basically set it and forget it. All you've got to then do is just feed the engine. Again, I go back to the client growth engine blueprint, which you can access by clicking the link below. Once it's set up, your job then becomes just to fuel the engine, hence the client growth engine. And the fuel that you put in there will be different depending upon how you get your traffic, whether you do paid, you do organic, you do joint venture, whatever it is, but work out what your fuel source is going to be, and then you just go all in on that fuel source for, I would say, at least 90 days as a minimum, and then check to see what the net result is. And if it's working, that's what you can double down on. If it's not working, then maybe review, have a chat with a coach, maybe try a different approach, but get the system set up, just like working with a client. They get the workout program set up, they get the diet set up, they get consistent workout routines planned in the diary, they run with it for 30 days or whatever period of time. They see the results. Yeah, let's keep going. If it's not working, let's make some changes. But they've got a system. This is no different from that. It's having a system in place that you know it's there. As long as I feed it the fuel, I should get something from it. Andrew, another great talk.
Loved it.
Look forward to the next one.
Me too. See you soon.
Take care.
Bye for now.